Okay, welcome everybody to our online Krishna Jayanti celebration. Thank you all for taking the time to come. Today's program, the first half of the program is a combination of some talks, some chanting of stotrams, listening to some bhajans and songs from YouTube. And the second half of the program will be some participants who have volunteered to sing some songs and bhajans on Krishna. Lord Mahavishnu took avataram as Sri Krishna in Avani Masam on Ashtami Tithi, that is the 8th day of the moon phase, and in Rohini Nakshatram. So Gokulashtami is celebrated on the Ashtami Tithi day, and Krishna Jayanti is celebrated on the day of the Rohini Nakshatram. Both days are equally auspicious. According to the Panchangam based on Toronto time, this year Gokulashtami is on Wednesday, September 6th, and Krishna Jayanti is on Thursday, September 7th in Toronto time. இப்போ ஒரு கதை இருக்கு, ஏன் பெருமாள் கிருஷ்ணரா அஷ்டமி திதியில் வந்தார்னு. ஒரு தரம் நவமியும் அஷ்டமியும் ரெண்டு தித்தியும் திருப்பார்கடல் போய் மகாவிஷ்ணு பெருமாள்கிட்ட போய் ஒரே குறையப்பட்டுண்டாலாம். எல்லாரும் பஞ்சாங்கம் பார்க்கச்ச எங்களுக்கு அஷ்டமி வாண்டான் நவமி வாண்டான்னு சொல்கிறா, ஏன் இப்படி அப்படின்னு. பெருமாள் சொன்னாரா, நீ கவலைப்படாத, நானே அவதாரம் வரைச்ச நான் அந்த திதியில் வரேன், அப்போ எல்லாரும் அந்த திதிஸை கொண்டாடுவா. அஷ்டமி திதியில் நான் கிருஷ்ணரா பிறப்பேன், நவமி திதியில் ராமரா பிறப்பேன் என்று சொன்னார். வந்து எல்லாரும் அன்னைக்கு கொண்டாடுபடுவான்னு அஷ்டமிக்கும் நவமிக்கும் பெருமாள் சொன்னாராம். Why Rohini Nakshatram? Chandran, the moon, has many wives. They are the 27 nakshatrams. One of those nakshatrams is Swati. It is said that when Swati and Chandran are together, pearls are born inside oysters in the ocean. So Rohini Nakshatram complained to Chandran and said, You say I'm your favorite wife, but it is when you are with Swati that a pearl is born. Then Chandran said, Don't worry, Rohini. When I join with you, there will be an even more wonderful gem that will be born. A Neelamani, a blue sapphire, will be born. That is the birth of Krishna. What does the word Krishna mean? Krishna commonly means one who is of a dark complexion, but the deeper meaning is as follows. Akarshayati iti Krishnaha. This means that Sri Krishna has an irresistible charm that draws all souls to him, like a magnet that draws iron fillings to itself. Akarshana means endearing oneself to the hearts of the Jivatmas. It is said that great yogis who are totally detached from everything in this world, when they see Krishna for the first time, all their detachment is gone in an instant, and they get immediately attracted to the beauty of his form. Another meaning of Krishna can be got by splitting the word into two halves, Kri and Shna, which collectively means Sachidananda or pure bliss. He is the one who is Ananda Swarupa, the form of bliss. By meditating on him, worshipping him, and serving him and his creation, we can also attain that bliss. Krishnashtakam. The Krishnashtakam stotram is a set of 8 slokams, that is, it's an ashtakam, of prayer to Lord Krishna as the Guru of the entire universe. Each slokam describes the beauty of Sri Krishna's form and ends with the phrase, Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum, meaning, I bow to Krishna, the Guru of the entire universe. Krishna is the ultimate Guru who gave us the Bhagavad Gita, which is a guidebook on how we should lead our lives both in the material and spiritual realms. The Bhagavad Gita contains the essence of the Upanishads. There is a slokam that says that Krishna is the cowherd who milked the cow, that is the Upanishads. The cow represents the Upanishads. The milk that came out was the Bhagavad Gita, the essence of the Upanishads. And this milk was meant for the calf, Arjuna, and of course, ultimately for all of us. The last verse, the 9th slokam of the Krishnashtakam, is a Phalasruti which lists out the benefits of singing this Ashtakam. It says, Koti janma kritam pabam smaranena vinashyati. The sins committed in billions of lives would be destroyed for one who chants this stotram. There are a few variations of Krishnashtakam, the original being composed by Adi Shankaracharya. The version we're going to chant is by an unknown composer, but it is very popular and when chanted with devotion and meaning can lift one to great spiritual heights. We will chant the Krishnashtakam now. The text is shown on the screen. Kalpana will chant it. You can either chant along with Kalpana or just listen. But please ensure your microphone is muted.
Vasudevasutam devam kamsachanuramardanam devaki paramanandam krishnam vande jagadgurum atasi pushpa sankasham haranupurashobhitam ratnakankana keyuram krishnam vande jagadgurum कुटिलालकसंयुक्तं पूर्णचन्द्रनिभाननं विलसत्कुण्डलधरं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं मन्दारगन्धसंयुक्तं चारुहासं चतुर्भुजं बर्हि पिञ्चावचूडाङ्गं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् उत्फुल्लपद्मपत्राक्षं नीलजीमूतसन्निभं यादवानां शिरोरत्नं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं रुक्मिणीकेलिसंयुक्तं पीताम्बरसुशोभितम् अवाप्ततुलसीगन्धं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् गोपिकानां कुचद्वन्द्वकुङ्कुमाङ्कितवक्षसं श्रीनिकेतं महेश्वासं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीवत्साङ्कं महोरस्कं वनमालाविराजितं शङ्खचक्रधरं देवं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् कृष्णाष्टकम् इदं पुण्यं प्रातरुत्थाय यः पठेत् कोटिजन्मकृतं पापं स्मरणेन विनश्यति.
So that is the Krishnashtakam, very beautiful stotram. Next, we will look at the slokam Chayayam Parijatsya. This slokam is the last slokam in the introductory part of the Vishnu Sahasranamam. That is, it occurs just before the 1000 names start. This slokam is on Sri Krishna. It is a dhyana slokam, which means you can chant this slokam and meditate on Sri Krishna. But in order to do that, you need to understand the meaning. Let's look at the word by word meaning. It describes a beautiful scene. Chayayam, in the shade of. Chaya means shade in Sanskrit. Chayayam, in the shade of. Parijatsya, of the Parijata tree. Hema Simhasanopari, on a golden throne, which is of course under the shade of that Parijata tree. Asinam, sitting. So picture a Parijata tree with wide canopy full of flowers, with peacocks dancing around the tree and the Yamuna flowing in the background. And there's a golden throne. And who is sitting on that throne? Ambuda Shyamam, the one, Krishna, who has the color of a dark cloud. Ayataksham, one who has long and wide eyes. Those same eyes that graces with his daya or compassion. Alankritam, he is beautifully decorated. Chandrananam, whose face is like the moon, that is, it is cooling. And by us looking at that moon-like face, our tapams get cooled. What is tapam? One meaning of tapaha is warmth or heat. Another meaning is any type of physical or mental affliction. So by looking at the moon-like face of Krishna, the heat of our mental and physical afflictions get cooled. Chandrananam. Chaturbahum, the one with 4 shoulders and hands, holding the Shankha, the conch, Chakram, the disc, Gada, the mace, and Padmam, the lotus. Shrivatsankita Vakshasam, the one who has the mark of Shrivatsa on his chest. Rukmini Satyabhamabhyam Sahitam, who is in the company of Rukmini and Satyabhama, his 2 consorts. Rukmini is an avataram of Sri Devi and Satyabhama is an avataram of Bhudevi. Krishnamashraye, to that Krishna I prostrate at his feet. Now, Kalpana will chant the Chayayam Parijatsya. You can follow along with the text that's shown on the screen, or you can just listen and read the meaning and meditate on Sri Krishna. Kalpana will repeat Chayayam 3 times.
Chayayam Parijatasya Hema Simhasanopari Asinamam Budashyama Mayatakshamalankritam Chandrananam Chaturbahum Shrivatsankitavakshasam Rukmini Satyabhamabhyam Sahitam Krishnamashraye Chayayam Parijatasya Hema Simhasanopari Asinamam Budashyama Mayatakshamalankritam Chandrananam Chaturbahum Shrivatsankitavakshasam Rukmini Satyabhamabhyam Sahitam Krishnamashraye Chayayam Parijatasya Hema Simhasanopari Asinamam Budashyama Mayatakshamalankritam Chandrananam Chaturbahum Shrivatsankitavakshasam Rukmini Satyabhamabhyam Sahitam Krishnamashraye.
So that is Chayayam Parijatasya. Please try to chant this slokam on Gokulashtami and Krishna Jayanti day. And try to remember the meaning and meditate on Sri Krishna. Next, let's talk about Sri Krishna's birth. So, why is it important to hear and know about Krishna's birth? Well, let's see what Krishna himself has to say about it. In the 9th slokam from chapter 4 of the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yoveti tattvataha taktva deham punarjanma neiti mameti sorjuna. The meaning of this is Janma, birth, karma, activities, me, of mine, divyam. These are birth and activities are divine. They are different from human birth and activities. They are divine birth and activities. Evam, thus, yaha, whoever, veti, tattvataha, knows this in truth, he, what happens to him? Taktva, having abandoned, deham, the body, that means after death, punarjanma, again birth, na eti, he never takes. So, after he has abandoned the body, he is never born again. Not only that, mameti, which is, he comes to me, O Arjuna. Those who understand the divine nature of my birth and activities, O Arjuna, upon leaving the body, do not have to take birth again, but come to my eternal abode. Let me read you some excerpts of Swami Mukundananda's commentary on this slokam. Our mind gets cleansed by engaging it in the devotional remembrance of God. Such devotion requires divine sentiments towards the personality of God. For people to engage in devotion to Sri Krishna, they must develop divine feelings towards his names, form, virtues, pastimes, abode, and associates. To develop such divine feelings, we must understand the difference between God's action and ours. We materially bound souls have not yet attained divine bliss, and hence the longing of our soul is not yet satisfied. Thus, our actions are motivated by self-interest and the desire for personal fulfillment. However, God's actions have no personal motive because he is perfectly satiated by the infinite bliss of his own personality. He does not need to achieve further personal bliss by performing actions. Therefore, whatever he does is for the welfare of the materially conditioned souls. Such divine actions that God performs are termed as Leelas, while the actions we perform are called work. Similarly, God's birth is also divine and unlike ours. If we can develop faith in the divinity of his birth and pastimes, Janma Karma, then we will be able to easily engage in devotion to his personal form and attain the supreme destination. So that was the comment of Swami Mukundananda on this slokam. So, with this background, let us now start to look at the events surrounding the divine birth of Sri Krishna. All things I'll be talking about here are taken from the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatham, where the whole Krishna Katha is covered in 90 chapters. We will look into some select slokams from Bhagavatham that cover the events that happened before and after the birth. Before that, I will quickly cover the background story just as a refresher. Most of you would be knowing this. The Mother Earth was overburdened by thousands of demoniac kings. It assumed a form of a cow and along with Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva went to the Milky Ocean and worshipped Lord Vishnu and pleaded with him to do something. Lord Vishnu agreed to take avataram on the earth. One of those demonic kings was Kamsa, who was under the protection of his father-in-law Jarasandha, and who with the help of his demon friends began oppressing the members of the Yadu dynasty. Kamsa's sister Devaki got married to Vasudeva. After the marriage, they were returning home with Kamsa driving the chariot. Then an ominous voice addressed Kamsa, warning him that Devaki's 8th child would kill him. Upon hearing this omen, Kamsa was immediately ready to kill Devaki, but the wise Vasudeva told him, "Why do you want to kill Devaki, your own sister, when only her 8th child is a threat to you? Once the children are born, I will bring them to you and you can do whatever you want." Kamsa agreed and then put Devaki and Vasudeva in a prison in Mathura, the capital of his kingdom. The first 6 children were born and the cruel Kamsa killed each one of them. Now let's look at what happened with the 7th and the 8th children. Now, the Lord has a power or a potency which is called Yoga Maya. This is different from the Maya that you might have heard of, which is the material energy, right? Maya is an energy of the Lord, but Yoga Maya is a higher divine energy of the Lord. So, the Lord ordered Yoga Maya as follows. Within the womb of Devaki is my partial plenary expansion known as Sankarshana or Sesha. Without difficulty, transfer him to the womb of Rohini. So, Lord orders Yoga Maya to transfer the 7th child that was born in the womb of Devaki. Now, the 7th child was Adiseshan, Anantadeva, who had entered Devaki's womb. And Rohini was the second wife of Vasudeva, who was living at the house of Nanda Maharaj at Gokulam in order to escape from Kamsa. So the Lord ordered Yoga Maya to transfer the 7th child from Devaki's womb to Rohini's womb. And on the left, I'm showing you the actual slokam from the Bhagavatham. Now, the Lord said, the 7th child, the son of Rohini, Lord said, the son of Rohini will also be celebrated as Sankarshana because of being sent from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini. He will be called Rama because of his ability to please all the inhabitants of Gokula. And he will be known as Balabhadra because of his extensive physical strength. So, the 7th child who was born was a partial avataram of the Lord of Balarama. He is the 8th avataram in the Dasha avataram, the 10 avataram. He was the elder brother of Krishna and he's always shown carrying a plow which is representative of his strength. Now, then the Lord said to Yoga Maya, "O all auspicious Yoga Maya, I shall then appear with my full 6 opulences as the son of Devaki, and you will appear as a daughter of Mother Yashoda, the queen of Maharaj Ananda." Then, after saying this, Lord blessed Yogamaya and said, people will worship you with incense in different forms of sacrifice because you are supreme in fulfilling the material desires of everyone. You will, depending on the place on earth, you will be celebrated with different names like Durga, Bhadrakali, Vijaya, Vaishnavi, Kumuda, Chandika, Krishna, Madhavi, Kanyaka, Maya, Narayani, Ishani, Sharada, and Ambika. So now, when the child of Devaki then was attracted and transferred into the womb of Rohini by Yogamaya, it seemed that Devaki seemed to have a miscarriage. Thus, all the inhabitants of the palace loudly lamented, alas, Devaki has lost her child. And Kamsa also had thought that the seventh child was lost due to miscarriage. Then the Lord enters into the mind of Vasudeva. Thus, the Lord, who is the super soul of all living entities and who vanquishes all the fear of his devotees, entered the mind of Vasudeva in full opulence. Now, here is the difference where, unlike human birth, the Lord first came into Vasudeva through his mind, unlike humans. Next, the Lord transferred himself to Devaki. Thereafter, accompanied by plenary expansions, the fully opulent Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is all auspicious for the entire universe, was transferred from the mind of Vasudeva to the mind of Devaki. Devaki, having thus been initiated by Vasudeva, became beautiful by carrying Lord Krishna, the original consciousness for everyone and the cause of all causes, within the core of her heart. Just as the east becomes beautiful by carrying the rising moon. Again, the birth from Vasudeva's Devaki was through the transfer of the Lord from Vasudeva's mind to the Devaki's mind, and not like a human birth. And that's very important to know that this is the difference between the Lord's birth and birth of human beings. Next, before the Lord's arrival, thereafter at the auspicious time for the appearance of the Lord, the entire universe was surcharged with all the qualities of goodness, beauty, and peace. The constellation Rohini appeared, as did stars like Ashwini. The sun, the moon, and the other stars and planets were very peaceful. The night the Lord was to be born, dark clouds were in the sky, the rain was pouring, and the banks of the Yamuna river were overflowing. Now the Lord appears. Now this slokam 8, 9, and the next two slokams we're going to look at, that is slokams 8 to 10. These are very important slokams, and it has been recommended by Andu and Swamigal that we should say these slokams on Krishna Jayanti and Gokulashtami. Slokam 8. Nishite tama udbhute jayamane janardane devakyam deva rupinyam vishnu sarva guhashayah avirasid yatha prachyam Indur iva pushkalaha. So the meaning of this is, then at the darkest hour of the night, Janardana appeared from the divine form of Devaki. Lord Vishnu, who resides in the heart of everyone, manifested himself fully like the full moon rising in the east. What a wondrous child. This is a very famous slokam from Bhagavatham. Tam adbhutam balakam ambujekshanam chaturbhujam Shanka Gadadi Yudayudham Srivatsa Lakshmam Galashobi Kaustubham Pitambaram Sandra Payoda Saubhagam. Now this is Vasudeva describing the baby that was born, and he says, Tam Adbhutam Balakam. It is that wondrous child who was Ambujekshanam, his eyes were like lotus. Chaturbhujam, with 4 hands. Shanka Gadadi Udayudham, holding the conch, mace, and other weapons. Srivatsa Lakshmam, with the mark of Srivatsa on his chest. Galashobhi Kaustubham, with a Kaustuba jewel on his neck. Pitambaram, wearing yellow garments. Sandrapayoda Saubhagam, who had the beautiful hue of dark rain clouds. So when the Lord was born, he was born with all this alankaram, and tam adbhutam balakam, that wondrous child. Vasudeva continues, Mahara Vaidurya Kirita Kundala Tvisha Parishvakta Sahasra Kuntalam Uddhama Kanchi Angada Kankanadibir Virochamanam Vasudeva Aikshada. He had crown and earrings were studded with the Vaidurya gems, with luxuriant scattered locks of hair, with a brilliant belt around his waist and wearing armbands and bracelets. Virochamanam, very beautifully decorated, Vasudeva Aikshada, Vasudeva saw. So these are the three slokams where, as soon as the appearance of Sri Krishna, is the explanation and the description by Vasudeva. Now after this, Vasudeva and Devaki pray to the Lord. So when Vasudeva saw his extraordinary son, his eyes were struck with wonder. In transcendental jubilation, he mentally collected 10,000 cows and distributed them among the Brahmanas. Vasudeva understood that the child was Narayana and started offering his prayers to him. Devaki also offered her prayers to the Supreme Lord. At that time, the Lord told Vasudeva and Devaki that this was the third time he was being born to them. In the previous Yuga, Vasudeva was Kashyapa, Devaki was Aditi, and the Lord was born as Upendra, or he was called Vamana because he was a dwarf. Before that, Vasudeva was Prajapati, Devaki was Prishni, and the Lord was born to them as Prishnigarbha. Now, by his internal energy, the Lord transformed himself back into a small human child. At this very time, Yogamaya took birth as the daughter of Yashoda. By the influence of Yogamaya, all the gatekeepers fell fast asleep. The strong iron chains on Vasudeva's feet opened automatically, and the closed doors of the prison opened. Vasudeva put baby Krishna in a fruit basket and took him out of the prison. The Yamuna, which was filled with deep water, gave way to Vasudeva and allowed him to cross. As it was raining, Anantasesha came and expanded his hood and protected the child. Vasudeva placed Krishna by Yashoda's bedside and took the girl child back to the prison. Once Kamsa got news of the birth of the eighth child, he came running to the prison cell. Though Devaki pleaded with him not to kill the girl child, but Kamsa did not listen and snatched the child from Devaki's hand. Then the child Yogamaya Devi, the younger sister of Lord Vishnu, that Kamsa snatched from Devaki's hand, slipped upward from Kamsa's hand and appeared in the sky as Devi, the goddess Durga, with 8 arms, completely equipped with weapons. The Devi said, "O Kamsa, you fool, what will be the use of killing me? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has been your enemy from the very beginning and who will certainly kill you, has already taken his birth somewhere else. Therefore, do not unnecessarily kill other children." After hearing the words of the goddess Durga, Kamsa was struck with wonder. Thus he approached his sister Devaki and brother-in-law Vasudeva, released them immediately from their shackles, and very humbly spoke to them. Unfortunately, the change in Kamsa didn't last long, because once when he went back at night, all his ministers who were asuras convinced him again that Krishna had to be killed. So then after that, he starts to send demons to Gokulam to kill Krishna. And that is part of the next story. So this sort of covers the birth of Krishna with, I've shown you the slokams from the Bhagavatam as it has been described. So now we will do a slightly different thing. Let's listen to a nice bhajan. This bhajan has been put together by the ISKCON devotees. Each line of the bhajan ends with the words Mam Pahi Kalyana Krishna Govinda. Oh Krishna Govinda, please protect me. In the visuals for the bhajan, you will see the Leelas of Sri Krishna in cartoon form, interspersed with the visuals of Srila Prabhupada and his disciples dancing in joy. Srila Prabhupada was from the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, which traces its lineage to the great Acharya Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Prabhupada started the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON, the Hare Krishna movement, and has brought Radha Krishna into the lives of so many people throughout the world. So let's all listen to this bhajan.
Kamala Vallabha Govinda, Kanchavilochana Govinda, Kaliya Mardana Govinda, Yashoda Bala Govinda, Yadukula Tilaka Govinda, Nitya Mahotsava Govinda, Nityananda Govinda, Venu Vilola Govinda, Vijay Gopala Govinda, Krishna Govinda. Bhakta Vatsalya Govinda, Bhagavata Priya Govinda, Rajagopala Govinda, Radha Vallabha Govinda, Gokulashtami Govinda, Gopika Ramana Govinda, Narada Chitta Govinda, Ved Sanbhuta Govinda, Nanda Kalaya Govinda, Navanita Chora Govinda, Sri Hari Keshava Govinda, Achyuta Madhava Govinda, Govinda Govinda Govinda, Govinda Govinda Govinda, Pahi Kalyana Krishna 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 Govinda.
It was a nice bhajan with showing the Leelas of Krishna. It was very nice, made by the ISKCON devotees. Let us talk about, next is Madhurashtakam. Madhurashtakam is a stotram that was composed by Sri Vallabha Acharya, who was a great Vaishnava Acharya who lived between 1479 and 1531. He is one of the 5 great Acharya saints of Vaishnavism, the other 4 being Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbarkacharya, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vallabhacharya founded the Radha Krishna centered Pushti Sampradaya of Vaishnavism. It's called Pushti Marg. Pushti Marg means the path of grace, which sees everything as Krishna and nothing but Krishna. His followers mostly live in Rajasthan, UP, Gujarat, and Mumbai. And the Srinathji deity, there's a very interesting story behind this deity. Let me just tell you that story. Lord Krishna appeared to Vallabhacharya and said, "I'm waiting for you. Come to the Govardhan hill and perform my seva." Sri Vallabhacharya proceeded to the Govardhan hill near Vrindavan, where Lord Krishna lived as a child. From the hill emerged the Srinathji Murti. Vallabhacharya established the worship of Srinathji and built a temple that was a simple structure made of bricks and mud. Later, he arranged for a stone temple to be built. The deity resided there till 1665, when he was secretly moved to Nathdwara in Rajasthan because of the growing Muslim antagonism in which numerous temples were being destroyed. This is the temple in Nathdwara. You see, it's been built like a Rajasthani palace. And Nathdwara is a town about 45 kilometers from Udaipur in Rajasthan. So next time you go visiting Rajasthan, please make it a point to get the darshan of Srinathji. And this is the Srinathji deity that is shown here on the right. Just as an aside, Srinathji is the family deity of the Ambani family. The Ambanis have donated a lot of money to improve the temple, and the matriarch of the Ambani clan is on the board of the temple. And they typically announce large company projects only after visiting the temple and getting the darshan of Srinathji. Now, back to Madhurashtakam. Madhuram, Madhuram. Every other word in the Madhurashtakam stotram is the word Madhuram, which means sweet. In the Madhurashtakam, each part of Krishna's form, gunas, and pastimes are described as Madhuram, sweet. It starts with Adharam Madhuram, his lips are sweet, Vadanam Madhuram, his face is sweet, and it goes on. And each stanza ends with Madhuradipate Akhilam Madhuram. Now, Madhuradipate, there are two interpretations of this. One is, he's the Lord of sweetness, Madhura Adipate. The other interpretation is, he's the Lord of Mathura. Because Krishna ruled over Mathura, he's also called the Lord of Mathura. So either meaning is okay. Madhuradipate Akhilam Madhuram. Everything, that is everything about him, is sweet. So now this Madhurashtakam, we're going to listen to a rendering that has been orchestrated beautifully by Kuldeep Pai and sung by Surya Gayatri and Manikandan. The text and the meaning is given below. Please follow along with that.
Madhuram, Madhuram, Akhilam, Madhuram, Madhuradhipate, Akhilam, Madhuram, 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 Akhilam, Madhuram, Madhuradhipate, Akhilam, Madhuram, Adharam, Madhuram, Vadanam, Madhuram, Nayanam, Madhuram, Hasitam, Madhuram, Hridayam, Madhuram, Gamanam, Madhuram, Madhuradhipate, Akhilam, Madhuram, 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 Akhilam, Madhuram, Madhuradhipate, Akhilam, Madhuram, 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 Akhilam, Madhuram, Madhuradhipate, Akhilam, Madhuram. Vachanam Madhuram, Charitam Madhuram, Vasanam Madhuram, Valitam Madhuram, Chalitam Madhuram, Brahmitam Madhuram, Madhuradhipate, Akhilam, Madhuram, 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 Akhilam, Madhuram, Madhuradhipate, Akhilam, Madhuram, 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 Akhilam, Madhuram, Madhuradhipate, Akhilam, Madhuram. Very वेणुर्मधुर पाणिर्मधुर पादो मधुरो नृत्यं मधुरं सख्यं मधुरं मधुराधिपतिरखिलं मधुरं मधुरं मधुरम् अखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतिरखिलं मधुरं मधुरं मधुरम् अखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतिरखिलं मधुरम् गीतं मधुरं 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 पीतं मधुरं भुक्तं मधुरं सुप्तं मधुरं रूपं मधुरं तिलकं मधुरं मधुराधिपतिरखिलं मधुरं मधुरं मधुरम् अखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतिरखिलं मधुरं मधुरं मधुरम् अखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतिरखिलं मधुरम् कर्णं मधुरं तरणं मधुरं हरणं मधुरं स्मरणं मधुरं वमितं मधुरं शमितं मधुरं मधुराधिपतिरखिलं मधुरं मधुरं मधुरम् अखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतिरखिलं मधुरं मधुरं मधुरम् अखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतिरखिलं मधुरम् गुञ्जा मधुरा माला मधुरा यमुना मधुरा वीची मधुरा सलिलं मधुरं कमलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतिरखिलं मधुरं मधुरं मधुरम् अखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतिरखिलं मधुरं मधुरं मधुरम् अखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतिरखिलं मधुरम् गोपी मधुरा लीला मधुरा युक्तं मधुरं मुक्तं मधुरं गोपी मधुरा लीला मधुरा युक्तं मधुरं मुक्तं मधुरं दृष्टं मधुरं शिष्टं मधुरं मधुराधिपतिरखिलं मधुरं मधुरं मधुरम् अखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतिरखिलं मधुरं मधुरं मधुरम् अखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतिरखिलं
So now I'm going to read a story which I thought was very, very nice. It was described by Swami Mukundananda on his website JK Yog. So the title is Baby Krishna and the Fruit Seller. So as little Krishna grew to be a toddler, stories of his divine Leela spread far and wide. Everyone wanted to have his darshan. A lady fruit seller heard the villagers recount their experiences of how after having seen Krishna just once, they could not get his image out of their mind. Her desire to meet Krishna became very intense. After packing a basket full of delicious fruits, she went to Vrindavan, daydreaming about his darshan. When she got close to Krishna's home, in the hope of attracting his attention, she shouted out loudly, "Juicy fruits for sale! Who wants mangoes, bananas, and sweet guavas?" However, her mind was so engrossed in Krishna that after some time she started saying, "Govinda, Damodara, Madhaveti." She kept calling out to Krishna for a couple of days, but did not have his darshan. By the third day, her desperation had increased, and she longed to see Krishna so much that she made up her mind that she would not leave until she had his darshan. Then, finally on the third day, when she called out, "Govinda, Damodara," Sri Krishna, who was playing on his mother's lap, jumped off and ran to grab some grain in his little hands. He knew that the fruit seller would want something in exchange for the fruits, so he ran toward her. While running, most of the grains fell out of his hands. By the time he got to the lady, there was hardly any left. He gave the grains to the lady and told her to give him the fruits in exchange. The fruit seller was so mesmerized by Krishna's image, she became speechless and barely heard his words. "Here, take these grains and give me mangoes." When she came around, the fruit seller told Krishna, "There's nothing in your hands. What will you give me in return for the fruits?" Krishna stood there just looking at her. The lady looked at the bewilderment and adorable innocence on his face and said, "If you sit on my lap and call me mother, I will give you all the fruits in this basket." Krishna showed his Leela by jumping onto her lap and asking, "Mother, Maya, will you give me the fruits now?" The lady, choked with maternal love, wonder, and the bliss of making physical contact with the Lord, she cried and told Krishna that he could have all the fruits, and saw him run back inside the house with a handful of mangoes. She sat there in total disbelief, wondering whether what just happened was true. She felt as if nothing else mattered in life after receiving the intangible gift from the Lord in exchange for some tangible fruits. After some time, she got up to go home, but when she lifted her basket, it felt much heavier. She peeked into the basket, and to her amazement, she saw that it was filled with jewels. She started crying once again by visualizing Krishna sitting in her lap and calling her mother, as she experienced the bliss of maternal love. All the jewels in the basket meant nothing when compared to the grace of God. So this story illustrates a devotional sentiment called Vatsalya Bhav. Now let's look at what Vatsalya Bhav is. In Vatsalya Bhav, it is a devotional sentiment where the attitude towards the Lord is of parental love and caretaking. That is, he is my most loving child, is the attitude that the devotee has. In Vatsalya Bhav, we become the parent and the Lord becomes our child. In this Bhav, our love for the Lord is more personal than, say, Dasya Bhav, where we are his servant. So how do we develop this Bhav, this Vatsalya Bhav? If all of us were to recollect the images of our own children when they were babies or toddlers, what happens? Immediately an overwhelming feeling of love and care arises in us. Holding these sentiments in mind, now just substitute baby Krishna instead of your children. Think Kuti Krishna is mine to love and take care of. That is Vatsalya Bhav. Many great saints have taken on Vatsalya Bhav towards the Lord. For example, Periyarvar, one of the 12 Tamil Sri Vaishnava saints, took on the role of Mother Yashoda and has sung many beautiful verses, pasurams, where he becomes Mother Yashoda and, for example, cajoles Kuti Krishna to come and take his bath. These are called the Neeratam pasurams. He decorates Krishna with beautiful flowers. Set of pasurams are called Puchutal pasurams. He pierces his ears, Kadukuttal pasurams. So like this, he does so many things in the role of Mother Yashoda and to the baby Krishna. So this is Vatsalya Bhav. And this story illustrates that this Vatsalya Bhav. So we should also try to develop this type of Vatsalya Bhav towards our Kuti Krishna. Now, like the fruit seller who gave fruits to Krishna, we too should offer him something. Let's see what Krishna himself says about that. In Slokam 26, in chapter 9 of the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktyuparidam ashnami prayatatmanaha. Let's look at the meaning of this. Patram, a leaf, pushpam, a flower, phalam, a fruit, toyam, some water, yaha, whoever, to me, with devotion, bhaktya, with devotion, prayachati, offers, that which is offered, bhakti upahritam, that is offered with devotion, prayatatmanaha, by one who is in pure consciousness, aham, I partake. So if one offers with devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or even water, I delightfully partake of that item offered with love by my devotee who is in pure consciousness. Now, this exact same slokam appears in the Srimad Bhagavatham, where Krishna says this while eating the dry rice offered by his friend Sudama. Now, let us look at the commentary on this slokam as given by Swami Mukundananda. The two key words in this slokam are bhaktya and prayatatmanaha. Prayatatmanaha implies I accept the offerings of those whose hearts are pure. So that doesn't mean you can't do all the bad things in the world and then come and offer to the Lord and expect him to accept it. Your hearts must be pure. The word bhaktya, which means with devotion, has been used in both the first and the second lines of the verse. Bhaktya in the first line and bhakti upahritam in the second line. It is the bhakti of the devotee that is pleasing to God and not how much the offering is worth. In this regard, there is an interesting incident from the Mahabharata to illustrate this fact. Before the Mahabharata war, Sri Krishna went to Hastinapur to see whether he could negotiate an agreement between the Kauravas and Pandavas and avoid the war. At that time, the evil Duryodhana had proudly prepared for Sri Krishna a meal with 56 different items. However, Sri Krishna rejected his hospitality and instead went to the humble hut of Vidurani, who had been deeply longing for the opportunity to serve her beloved Lord. Vidurani was overjoyed on receiving the Supreme Lord at her home. All she had to offer was bananas. But her intellect was so overwhelmed with loving sentiments that she did not even realize that she was dropping the fruit on the ground and putting the banana peels in the Lord's mouth. Nevertheless, seeing her devotion, Sri Krishna blissfully ate the peels as if they were the most delicious food in the world. So, it is the devotion with which you offer which is important and not the value of the offering. Let us make it a habit that we offer a patram, pushpam, palam or toyam to Perumal and Tayar every day. These items are easy to get and do not cost much. When we offer it, we must not do it in a mechanical manner, but we should use the following visualization. First, start with the thought of all the blessings you have in your life that have been given by them. The blessings that you take for granted, the ability to breathe, walk, talk, see, hear, etc. The blessings of having a roof over your head, food on the table, and enough money to lead a comfortable life. Remember, there are many people in the world who don't have this. Now, with this attitude of gratitude for all that they have given to you, lovingly place in their hands the water or the fruit or the tulsi leaf or the flower. Visualize placing it in the dark blue hands of Perumal and in the golden hands of Mahalakshmi. Think, "O Lord, you have given me so much, but all I have to offer you are these small things. But I offer it with all my love, O Lord." Visualize them accepting your offering with happiness as parents would a gift from their own child. Visualize their smiling and happy faces after they have partaken your offering. Pray that they bestow their divine grace upon you and your family. So, let us take a commitment that we will do this offering to Tayar and Perumal every day. Now we're going to listen to a song about Ras Lila. Before that, I'll just give you an overview of Ras Lila. Ras Lila is a dance of divine love, where Ras means nectar and Lila means play or dance. In the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatham, Maharishi Vedavyasa has described the night of Sharad Purnima as when this celestial dance recital between Bhagavan Sri Krishna and the Gopikas led by Radharani took place. Sharad Purnima is the full moon night in the autumn season, Sharad. The full moon in that season is very special. On this night, the moon showers on the earth the cooling nectar of healing and nourishing energy. Just like the moon showering its cool nectar, Lord Krishna too showered Bhakti Ras, the taste of divine love, on this night. On this night, Lord Krishna invited his most beloved devotees, the gopis of Vrindavan, to join in the Maharas with him. The gopis had earned his special grace by totally surrendering everything, including societal propriety, to offer him their unalloyed devotion. Pleased with such immutable love for him, Sri Krishna initiated the divine dance by assuming as many forms as they were gopis. Each gopi thought that Krishna was dancing with her alone. Krishna, the Paramatma, the Supreme Soul, dances in divine love with each of the gopis who represent the Jivatmas, individual souls like us. It is a dance that is at a spiritual level and not at the body level. It is a dance of love and bliss between the Paramatma and the Jivatma. Ras Lila represents the union of Sri Krishna with his pure devotees, a union that is filled with pure bliss, a union that we as Jivatmas should strive for as our ultimate destination. Now, we're going to listen to a song called Gopi Gopala Lala that describes the Ras Lila. This song was composed by Sant Surdas, who was a great poet, singer, and saint. He was a great Krishna Bhakt who lived in the 15th century, and he comes from the disciple lineage of Vallabha. Surdas was born blind from birth. Now, this song has been beautifully again orchestrated by Kuldeep Pai and wonderfully sung by Pavani and Purva Dhanashri. So let us listen to this song and enjoy the bliss of Ras Lila.
गोपी गोपाल लाल रास मंडल माहे गोपी गोपाल लाल लाल
Sriram, it stopped.
गोपी गोपाल लाल लाल गोपी गोपाल लाल माही गोपी गोपाल लाल रास मंडल माही तथा थेता सुधंग निरतत गहिवाही गोपी गोपाल लाल रास मंडल माही तथा थेता सुधंग निरतत गहिवाही गोपी गोपाल लाल रास मंडल माही तथा थेता सुधंग निरतत गहिवाही गोपी गोपाल लाल रास मंडल माही द्रुम 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 मृदंग द्रुम 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 मृदंग द्रुम 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 मृदंग चलनननन रूप रंग द्रुम 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 मृदंग चलनननन रूप रंग दृगता दृगताल तंग दृगता दृगताल तंग दृगता दृगताल तंग उघडत रसनाही गोपी गोपाल लाल रास मंडल माही तथा थेता सुधंग निरतत गहिवाही गोपी गोपाल लाल रास मंडल माही राधा मुख शरद चंद पौंछत जल श्रमानंद राधा मुख शरद चंद पौंछत जल श्रमानंद श्री व्रज चंद लटक लटक श्री व्रज चंद लटक लटक करत मुकुट छाही गोपी गोपाल लाल रास मंडल माही सुधर गात तत सुधर गात सरे गमा पधनी गठाठ 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 और पद ही प्रहलाद दाम्प दंपति अति सारही गोपी गोपाल लाल रास मंडल माही यमुना नीर यमुना नीर यमुना नीर यमुना नीर यमुना 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 नीर यमुना यमुना नीर चकित थकित यमुना नीर चकित थकित यमुना नीर खग मृग जग मग शरीर चकित थकित यमुना नीर चकित थकित यमुना नीर खग मृग जग मग शरीर धनी रंग के कुमार बलि बलि जाय सूरदास बलि बलि जाय सूरदास रास सुख निहारही गोपी गोपाल लाल रास मंडल माही तथा थेता सुधंग निरतत गहिवाही गोपी गोपाल लाल सरि 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 ग म ग रि ग सा सा रि ग रि ग ग म
It was a beautiful song, wonderfully composed and choreographed by Kuldeep Pai. If you're not subscribed to his channel, please do that. Beautiful bhajans and songs he has. This song is a wonderful song just to close your eyes and meditate and visualize the Ras Lila with the sound of the mridangam and the anklets. Very, very beautiful song. I hope you all enjoyed it too. So now we have almost reached the end of our program. We will conclude the first half of the program with Mahamantra. And
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
okay, with that, we'll end the first half of the program. That chanting was by the Madhava's Rock Band, and also a wonderful YouTube channel. You can subscribe to. They have wonderful songs there as well. So thank you very much for listening to me, and hope you found it enjoyable.